Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Proptech Carpool with Soho. In this episode, I interview Ewan Morton, founder of Morton Real Estate and board member of the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales. Ewan has over 18 years experience in the industry and is one of the most insightful thought leaders that I've met. Here are Ewan's perspectives on leadership in real estate. Ewan Morton, thanks for joining Proptech Carpool with Soho.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to sing a song.
Nah, I wouldn't make you do that. How'd you get into real estate?
Well, my father was in it. So originally he was in real estate, and I actually started my career at IBM. Mm-hmm. So I worked there for 3 years and I was selling computers. And I thought if I was going to sell something, then I should probably sell something that I could get directly proportional to how much I sold.
Yeah,
which sure.
was
sort of, I don't know. Now that I look back at it, I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. That was one of the thought processes where in the corporate world it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Yeah.
They limit your earnings, and I didn't want to be somewhere where the earnings were limited, which seems like a sort of silly thing to be saying 22 years later.
Yeah.
Because it turned out to be a little more complicated than that.
So how many offices do you have now?
Okay, we've got 8. Yeah.
Yep.
So they're spread across Sydney. Our model is sort of small offices, and we have very empowered teams who, make their decisions on the ground and do whatever. And combination of salespeople, property managers, leasing, and new business people. And all the support is done centrally.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's the big attraction for someone to join Morton?
Oh, we're good guys.
Yeah.
Look, I think, why would you join us? Well, I think we have a pretty good reputation as a business.
Yep.
And we work pretty hard at that in terms of doing the best we can. So if I had to, in fact, I was saying this morning, I think as a company, we have an attitude towards doing the best we can and also trying to be excellent.
Yep. So
with the understanding that we're not always excellent because we're dealing in a very emotional business and people dealing with people, but that's very much our intent, and everything that we do to drive our business is based on that. So I think people who like to try hard and want to get somewhere is why you should join us. We're also very much about career.
Yep.
So to be a good sales agent, that doesn't happen in 5 minutes. That happens over a career, like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people who've been successful with us are people who started with us, years ago and have gone through all the different segments and have built up. So you don't become $1 million fee writer overnight.
Yeah.
You need to grow towards that. So we're good at that. So we've been very good at growing our own people. So somebody who wanted a long-term career and be with somebody who's going to support them, then they should come and join us. Yeah.
What have you learnt over the years about building teams up? What are you looking for in teams? What would generate a hire or not a hire?
Look, I think it's a constant work in progress is what I would say. I think it's something you got to constantly work at. So I think people make the mistake thinking that they've got their team working and therefore they can stop.
Right.
Whereas you've got to keep at it, because teams can be good and bad. Culture comes and goes.
Do I go straight here?
Yeah, go straight ahead up here. So culture comes and goes, and you've got to constantly work at that.
Yep.
I think. We do a lot on leadership, so we're right into that.
Yeah.
I bang on about that.
What kind of leader are you?
A crap one. No, I don't know. I try and do my best.
Yep.
Leadership's not easy.
Sure.
And we're using that a lot now. Like, that term's being bandied around, which is quite funny in the real estate industry, because I think people are struggling to understand what leadership means, because to be a good leader, you generally have to have a semblance of generosity. Mm-hmm. You've got to be caring, genuinely so.
Yeah.
You have to be able to put other people first, because why is anyone ever going to try hard for you if you're putting them second?
Yep.
We're in a different era now, where employment, anybody can go out and get a job in real estate. it's like property managers. I say to people, go, you can go out there tomorrow and get a job in any old agency, but do you want a career?
Yep.
Right, that's the difference. So, yeah, and I think the general level of leadership out there is not too crash high. I reckon that's another reason for coming to us, is because we talk about leadership and we work on that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of growing teams, I think you just got to work at it, constantly work at it. It needs to have a good leader in charge of it, somebody who's thinking about the team, not just about themselves. Generally gets a better outcome.
Yeah.
I've found over the years. But I think it's the go. Like, I think one of the reasons leadership's become a big thing in our industry is that it's teams that win, not individuals.
Gotcha.
And that's a big change.
Yep.
That's a big change, where you could have a standalone sales agent, for example, and do quite well. Now you need to be running teams of 2, 3, 4, 5, and to be able to do that, you've got to have decent leadership skills.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. How do you guys have fun?
We don't.
It's all
no,
serious.
we do. No. Well, we are sort of serious. I mean, I think I'm too old. But we have a lot of, actually, we generally, all our teams have, we have quarterly success dinners.
Yep.
We're big ones for attending award ceremonies en masse.
Mm-hmm.
Our Christmas party's good.
Yep.
Yeah. All the partners come to that. So I'm a big one on that. Christmas party is partners.
Yep.
Awards just us, so it tends to get a different vibe. We are pretty serious about what we do.
Yeah.
And I think I play to my age there, where I just like to focus on work.
Yeah.
But as a company, we do lots of team events. Getting everyone together. We've recognised that helps a lot.
Yep.
If everybody gets on well. So yeah.
What's the funniest thing you've seen in real estate over the last 18,
I could
20 years?
I could write a book.
Is there one thing that particular sticks in your mind?
I mean, I think there's lots of really funny stuff, particularly on the renting side.
Yep.
Some of the tenant situations that we used to get. We managed a lot of apartments in a particular building in the eastern suburbs, and that was certainly a first port of call for newly divorced men.
Right.
Yeah, that's where they sort of came, and that led to all sorts of outcomes.
Yeah. How you seeing current market at the moment? Obviously, it's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely cooled off.
What are you looking at the kind of, I guess, now and kind of towards the back end of the year as well?
Look, I think it's actually pretty good. In that it's cooled off. I think it's probably come back 10%, probably, maybe a little more in other areas, but certainly our listings are fine. Like, we've got plenty of stock. You just need to be
this one?
Yeah, go up here. I think you need to be an agent that knows how to say what needs to be said. And we've probably got a generation of agents that haven't actually faced. We've had a very, very strong market for 5 years.
Yep.
And we've now faced, a little bit of a downturn. Like, this is nothing into some of the things that I've seen.
Yep.
And you just need to be an agent. And even on the rental side, because the vacancy rate's gone up and it's softening as well.
Yep.
You just got to be able to tell people the truth in such a way. And if you do that with care, which is pretty much a leadership trait. So if you can tell somebody the truth with care, then you'll be fine. And don't hold back from doing that.
Yeah.
That's what I actually think is part of the issue, is that you actually get agents who are good people. They don't want to disappoint, but they've got disappointing news, so they put it off.
Gotcha.
And it makes it worse.
Yep.
Whereas what you got to do is just pick up your phone or put on your boots and go and see them.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
You would have had a number of mentors, I guess, along the way.
Yeah.
Do you still kind of reach out to those guys and ask them for advice?
I mean, I have a network of people who I talk to.
Yeah.
So I suppose when I first got started, I was a big one. I had some people who were very generous to me in terms of telling me what not to do. And it took me a number of years to find those people. Mm-hmm. So when I started my business, I reckon I spent 5 years in a void. And then I did meet people, and they were very generous.
Yep.
So I've always had an attitude of being generous back, particularly with new people coming in, because that can save a lot of pain.
Yep.
But yeah, like, I'm lots of industry stuff. I'm a director of the REI in New South Wales. I make it my business to know people, so that you can ring up and suggest, and ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to have that network of people you can ring up and ask the truth.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing I found. I used to, well, I still am. I go to lots of conferences and do things. It took me a while to realise that everybody actually was lying.
Right. Okay.
They didn't mean to.
Yeah.
They were just glossing it over to make it sound like a good story. And I used to always, think, oh, that's a good idea, and get back to my business and implement it, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm like, what have I done wrong? And then I realised that some of the ideas that I was getting weren't actually true.
Gotcha.
So you've got to have a really strong network of people that you can ring up and ask of, and I've definitely got that.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely got that.
Yeah. Technology is changing, I guess, the real estate landscape. Seems to be a bit of a hot topic. How are you seeing technology in your business?
You know what? I reckon there's a lot of talk about technology disruption, disintermediation, what's happening, a lot of noise, and I think that what it's actually doing is giving us clarity about what we should be doing, because all this technology is taking away stuff. Go left here. Go. It's taking away stuff that actually lets us concentrate on what we should be doing, which is relationships and negotiating to make sure that we get people the best price, whether it's rental or for selling. And particularly on the selling side, like, we have a pointy end of it, a piece of magic at the end, which actually, if done properly, gets the vendor more money.
Right.
So, the more opportunities we get to do that, the better. And I actually think we're being told what our job is by all these things being taken away from us. So therefore do the job.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think people forget that.
Yep. You want to do a 10-second pop quiz?
Okay. I probably want to answer the question.
Matt Damon or Brad Pitt?
Matt Damon.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
How many coffees do you have a day?
Probably about 8 to 10.
If you purchased a boat, what would the name of the boat be?
Stupid idea. Hashtag stupid idea.
What's your favourite book?
What is my favourite book? 2.
Yep.
For business book, Good to Great.
Okay.
Right, always a staple of anyone. And another one is the 48 Rules of Power.
Okay.
Yeah, fascinating book. And no one, you probably will never find that anywhere. But
favourite movie?
Favourite movie? Well, now you've mentioned Matt Damon, I'd have to say the Bourne series.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
You're Morton. Thank you very much for
Pleasure.
joining Proptech Carpool. Thanks, mate.